Hello everyone, today I'll be debunking this video which explains why Makima wins against Gojo and that battle was wrong. Disclaimer, do not send hate to anyone, not me, not this guy, not that battle. Like, do not send hate to anyone. Actually, sending hate and creating controversy about fictional characters is something that any mature person would do. Just saying it in the beginning. Enjoy.
Concept of infinity. As the difference between himself and an object decreases, Limitless halves the object's velocity. It's like Zeno's paradox.
This is actually a good explanation of Limitless. It's not perfect. More accurately, Gojo bends space-time around himself to slow something down to the point where it never reaches him.
To be honest, I agree with his definition of infinity here. There are actually a lot of people who confuse how infinity works, so I'm glad he managed to define infinity correctly. Here, he also states that Gojo manipulates space-time on an atomic level, so he technically admits that Gojo can manipulate a 4D space, making Gojo 4D.
And repelling them into nothing.
This is only partly accurate. Hollow Purple is the combination of red and blue, red basically being push and blue being pull. Gojo's abilities work on the atomic level, so what's happening with Hollow Purple is that your atoms are being pushed and pulled in all different directions, which would scramble your atoms across space. Basically, you'd be reduced to nothingness. This is important because Death Battle is going to treat it like an instant delete button later, and it's not.
Now here's where my main problem starts. He states that Purple isn't an existence erasure, and rather a scrambling of atoms. His argument is that as red is technically pushing and blue is technically pulling, Hollow Purple would scramble the atoms. Firstly, that's just an interpretation. For example, you can just define blue as simply pulling. There are many details of its definition, like how it includes -1 apples, which is a physical impossibility. I'm not saying he says it's just a simple pulling force, though we can't comprehend purple as just pulling and pushing. Plus, if it was pulling and pushing, their combination would give us no movement, so purple would have no effect on any being. Now let me show you what purple does. Purple managed to blow a hole through Toji. While doing so, Purple also destroyed half of the inventory curse. It is stated that the inventory curse's inside is a 4D space. By the way, this is stated in the data book. So Purple has 4D AP on an atomical level. This is consistent as Gojo's abilities to manipulate space-time on atomical level. As 4D completely transcends even into the 3D objects, all Purple would destroy any 3D character's atoms.
If you look up in that top corner right there, you'll see that they're mentioning Sukuna dodging EM waves. This comes from chapter 237 of JJK, where Sukuna supposedly dodges EM waves. However, the same panel that gives the EM waves explanation also mentions sound waves. Assuming these are sound waves, not EM waves, that would massively downscale Sukuna in terms of speed, and would be far more consistent in terms of JJK speed scaling. Sukuna is able to dodge Piercing Blood, which is stated to move at Mach 1 or exceed Mach 1, depending on your translation. Top tier JJK characters are hyping up speeds like Mach 3, and even Hikari needed infinite cursed energy to dodge lightning and still lost an arm.
So here he states that Sukuna's electromagnetic wave dodging feat is an outlier. Firstly, scientists prove that if amped enough, the speed of sound can even surpass the speed of light. As I'm already creating a video about Jujutsu and speed, I'll go over these briefly. The supposed outliers are Piercing Blood exceeding Mach 1, but it is again, Piercing Blood exceeds Mach 1, so it doesn't limit us with a high end, so it's a feat only for a low end scale. Mach 3 statement was referring to travel speed, which is consistent as a battle including traveling through city blocks, and even a tired beginning of the series Mach key is calculated at Hypersonic Plus. Feast in the comment section, by the way, with the calculation too. Infinite curse energy doesn't mean anything. That matters. What matters is the output of it. Also, he lost an arm. I'm talking about Hakari, by the way, because the lightning was extremely close to him, and the lightning has a sure hit effect, so even if you are MFTL plus, you still can't dodge it.
When she forced Japan's prime minister into a contract that states, and I quote, any attack made on her will be changed into appropriate illnesses or accidents among Japanese citizens.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
But Gojo would obviously lose if he couldn't permanently kill Makima.
The moment Unlimited Void landed, Makima would be stuck, opening her up for a good old Hollow Purple.
Her contract isn't perfect. Makima only ever regenerated as long as there was some mass to come back from.
But Hollow Purple disintegrates anything it touches to zero. Literally. There's no way she was regenerating from that.
Except none of this has really been stated. I explained Hollow Purple a bit earlier, and there's a more in-depth explanation on my Goku vs. Gojo video, but in short, it's not an instant delete button. It scrambles your atoms by pushing and pulling them in all different directions. It is literally the combination of push and pull. Red and blue. Plus, curses like Hanami, who can use reverse curse technique very easily, manage to regenerate from Hollow Purple. And even if you want to ignore that, Makima's regeneration is never stated to require any part of her to still exist. It's never really implied she works like Cell or Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z, where both of those characters need at least one part of themselves to exist in order to regenerate from that. Something you have to keep in mind is that Makima's regeneration doesn't work like traditional regeneration seen in Wolverine and Cell from Dragon Ball Z. It's damage transference, which works completely differently. And even assuming that it did work like those characters, Wolverine has regenerated from a single drop of blood, and Cell was able to regenerate from just his nucleus. So even if Makima's atoms were scrambled, they would likely just reform, and some poor Japanese citizen would be scrambled up instead. So not only does Hollow Purple not erase things from existence like they are asserting, but Makima's regeneration is not as nerfed as they are assuming, which crosses Hollow Purple out as a viable win con for Gojo. And if Gojo can't kill Makima, then that pretty much only leaves one thing for him to do, and that's his domain expansion.
I'd like to take your attention to the statement about Makima's contract. It is stated that she can transfer attacks. It doesn't say it can't transfer any attack. So the regeneration level can only be decided while looking at feats. Makima's best regen feat is mid-high level. He states that a limit was never stated, making her regen from anything, but this is a no-limits fallacy. Also, him mentioning Cell and Wolverine are a strongman fallacy. Cell and Wolverine's regens are unrelated with Makima's regen. Also, maybe a bit late to mention, but what does Hanami using RCT after Hollow Purple has anything to do with Hollow Purple's existence erasure argument?
However, even that has technically some problems with it, and we will explore that right now.
Unlimited Void overloads its target with unlimited information.
This is a gross oversimplification. Unlimited Void has a set speed. In 1/10 of a second, 3 months of information is injected into your brain. This information is then exaggerated by Gojo's domain to appear infinite. It's not actually infinite. To steal an example from the manga, if you saw an apple in Gojo's domain, you would infinitely perceive the letter A, then P, P again, LE, and so on, with months to even years worth of information being injected into your mind in mere seconds, and then being exaggerated to infinity.
Now here I actually congratulate him, as the definition of infinite void is extremely accurate. While watching Death Battle I also realized that issue, but there's a huge problem. Is unlimited void an attack? Unlimited void flows information to anyone in unlimited void. This is it. Although it can kill someone while brain damage, it doesn't necessarily attack. It's like shooting to the sky and the bullet lands to you. It wasn't an action of attacking, though it still caused damage. Just like how Denji defeated Makima, so Makima can't redirect the attack. In conclusion, Gojo stomps by purple and Infinite Void. Yeah, that's pretty much it.